Matthew Holehouse is the public policy editor at The Economist, joins us now. Over the course of the day, I've heard every phrase about Starmer, from dead man walking to on his way out to can't survive this. You're a seasoned viewer of these scandals. What do you make of it? Can he survive? Will he survive?
Yeah, I think I'd characterize it as chronic rather than acute, although this is a particularly acute moment. I mean, the reality is that the UK has got a pretty weakened prime minister. It has done for some time. He's got much weaker today. His authority has been dwindling for some time. It's been badly knocked by the Mandelson affair. And he's lost two really key figures in his operation today, his chief of staff, Morgan McSweeney, and his director of communications. So really, he's having to work pretty hard to hold up his job today.
I mean, when it comes to Mandelson, he either closed his mind to it, he didn't make enough inquiries about it, he accepted the word of a man who had lied on previous occasions and was not the most reputable to begin with. There isn't a lot going for him on this one.
No, the Conservative opposition have pointed out that there was a huge volume of information about concerns regarding the relationship between Mandelson and Epstein prior to the appointment being made. It seems that insofar as Downing Street was aware of that, they regarded it as a risk that they thought was worth taking because they thought that Mandelson was the right candidate for the job, and that misjudgment has sort of unraveled in horrendous fashion. And maybe this is the terminal event of this premiership.
It's a very strange arrangement, isn't it, though, goings on where Britain, which is tangentially, in a sense, concerned with Epstein, the Prime Minister, who'd never met the man or hadn't had anything to do with him, is ensnared in a scandal where back here in the United States, it seems, doesn't matter who's involved in the scandal, nobody seems to be paying the price at the moment for it.
It is a very interesting study in contrasting political cultures. I mean, one is that Peter Mandelson was a very sort of well-known figure in the UK here for 30 years. So he was a name that attracted a lot of attention. And he had been embroiled in scandals before, very different scandals. The UK has a very sort of high accountability culture. You know, the culture of the British press is for very sort of intensive, some would say aggressive scrutiny of public figures, and figures either have to learn to deal with that or quit. And it comes on an administration that has been weakened for months because its polling is poor and because it's made misstep after misstep. So it's a confluence of those three things means that this event really does risk being terminal for this Prime Minister.
Who would take over? Assuming, I mean, he's not gone yet, and but who is the name that's being talked about in the tea rooms?
There is no single favoured candidate, completely different to the situation that last time the Labour Party changed prime ministers in office with Tony Blair, when Gordon Brown was the obvious. And one of the things keeping Starmer in power at the moment is that there is no candidate with a campaign ready, and there's really no candidate who can claim compellingly to be able to do the job or able to command the political coalition to do the job. So it could be Wes Streeting, but he's seen by some as far too close to Peter Mandelson and the right of the Labour Party. Could be Angela Rayner, the former Deputy Prime Minister, but she's got her own tax investigation hanging over her. Could be Ed Miliband, very, very popular with the members, somewhat on the left of the party, but he was leader of the opposition before Labour, and he lost the general election. So that's it's wide open at the moment, and that is the one thing in Keir Starmer's favour.
And as one Labour backbencher said, be careful what you wish for. You may just end up lumbered with it. Matthew, we'll need your help in the days and weeks ahead to understand. I'm grateful for your time tonight. Thank you. Good evening to you in London.